I'm also 17 years old and I go to Columbia Central High School. Now we're going to talk about the run-through of the event. First, you want to start thinking about the number of students inside your school. See how long or how many events your school usually has to hold. For example, at Columbia Central, we split it to freshmen and juniors, they go, and then later in the day, the sophomores and seniors, they go, simply for numbers.
At my school, we have to do it grade by grade at the auditorium because the auditorium isn't big enough for all 4 grades to fit in at one time.
Make sure that you know how long this event is going to take. Make sure it's not too long or too short. Usually they take about an hour and 30 minutes, with the exception of 10 minutes for the students to get into place. Also, you need to think about disclosures. Please make sure that you address the fact that there will be religion and child abuse and things that may make other individuals feel uncomfortable on these subjects. If they do feel uncomfortable, let them know it is okay to step out.
My potential career choices are either corporate lawyer or politician. Through CAARE, I have been able to work with Brent Cooper, who is an assistant DA and is running for a DA, Sheila Butt, who is House Representative, State Senate Representative Joey Hensley, Bucky Rowland, Robin Howell, and Terry Chandler, who are all former law enforcement, and they are running for sheriff.
And in the previous video, I forgot to mention too that I'm 17, I go to Columbia Central High School, and I'm also one of the leaders for the nursing.
Acting similarly, once you've mentioned disclosure, you must then tell the students what CAARE is and what exactly we do. In order to do so, you have to perform step 1 very thoroughly. Once you have told them a little bit about CAARE, you must then introduce the leadership. Those are the people who have agreed to come out and speak for you, such as we usually have Brent Cooper, who is running for DA, come speak out, and Nicole Meadows, who is a former CAC worker.
After you introduce your leadership, you need to introduce the 6, which are the 6 babies that we're representing. And after them, you show a video of all the CAARE benefits.
This video will be linked below. Next, you tell them some statistics. These are things such as, like we told everyone to look at the person in front of you, behind you, left to and right of you.
Yeah.
And that you just looked at someone who has been abused. And then she asks, how many of them, have you had a class with all of high school? Think about it, you never know if that person's the one. And then Thomas did this one. He said, because our auditorium's in 3s, he said, looking at the auditorium, statistically, this whole section of the auditorium has been abused in some sort.
Then you'll have an open mic portion where people can come up and ask questions freely.
Once you finish the Q&A and open mic portion, then mention to them that they can also sign up for CAARE, that you have sign-up sheets. There's a link below that will lead you to the PDF files of all of our sign-up sheets.
Step 5, you need to decide weekly times for your meetings. Usually it's best to have your meeting place at your school, but if you do it at your school, you need to have your principal give permission to it. And after you get the permission from your principal to have the meetings at the school, you need to have the first meeting as soon as possible. And during these meetings, you need to always take pictures and videotape what you're doing so you have proof that you were there doing stuff. All your members need to make the majority of the meetings because CAARE can kind of be like a sports event where if you don't come to practice or most all of the practices, then you can't play the game. And if you come to all the meetings or most all the meetings, then you can't participate in our big events that we do.
Once you get CAARE up and running in your school, you also all need to purchase t-shirts, which are $10. That way you can advertise yourself and people will know who you are and what you're doing. CAARE also has a lot of benefits depending on what type of field you're wanting to go to, which we have fields ranging from legal, political, medical, social work, faith, law enforcement, community outreach, communication services, athletics, and even marketing.
There are a lot of benefits in joining CAARE. You can job shadow depending on what field you go into. You can get letters of recommendation. We have connections with people who can help you get into whatever university you want to. And there is a 2-day athletic camp that will arise this fall. And if you put in a certain amount of hours with CAARE, you can get into it for free.
One of the reasons I joined CAARE is because child abuse is important. That's why I become president of Marshall County. Colleges and playing football at college.
The next step in having a CARE program at your school is fundraising. Fundraisers that we have held on our website, but of course you're free to hold any fundraisers that you wish.
There's no limit to your fundraisers, but you must do one in April. April is Child Abuse Awareness